When I think back to my fondest gaming memories, a few classics spring to mind. In terms of PC gaming in the 90s, few could touch the quirky, humorous nonsense that was Theme Hospital. Bullfrog had carefully swapped Ferris wheels for pharmacies and roller coasters for reception desks. Now, it wasn't about squeezing enough money out of the customers before they were sick, it was about doing it in spite of that. Curing them of their ailments remained an optional afterthought. It was this almost dark, quite often self-depreciating humour that I loved, and the release of 2 Point Hospital on PC brought me right back to my childhood, and now it's hitting consoles, and I have another glorious excuse to revisit its timeless charm, wit, and addictive pursuit of profitable patient care. Perhaps the biggest compliment I can pay 2 Point Hospital is that it feels like, well, 2 Point Hospital just on consoles. I'll admit to having concerns over the controls, particularly the move to using a controller. My muscle memory for this game, and indeed its spiritual predecessor Theme Hospital, has always been point and click with a mouse. Using the pointer to drag out rooms or select different menus was intuitive and meant I spent less time faffing around and more time perfecting my medical marvels. A well organised system of button commands controls things in this console version. It's clean and simple, and it keeps things nice and orderly, perfect for when you need to grapple with a nuisance ghost or control an emergency arrival of multiple patients. The camera is responsive and can be manipulated to your will easily, meaning you always have the best view of the goings on in your hospital. The main career mode, where you tackle tougher and tougher hospital scenarios, remains largely unchanged. There's still a plethora of things to learn, consider, and then juggle as you progress through each location. Each one not only serves as an introduction to concepts such as training, research, or even managing temperatures, but also pushes these principles further. Those wishing to bag 3-star ratings on each hospital will need to truly master each facet that is introduced. This approach makes it feel more like the game opens up to you as you progress, and while some of the later levels are asking a lot of you, the journey getting there is well balanced. New levels always feel approachable too, even if you commit to getting that lauded 3-star rating before you move on to the next challenge. Visually, the console version holds its own too. The rounded caricature style for the character models is perfectly in keeping with the tone, which is almost slapstick at times. A cheeky zoom in reveals a fair amount of detail and polish to each one, something that is even more commendable when there are hundreds of them milling around the rooms and corridors. The animations for different actions or conveying different emotions are smooth and purposeful, with no slowdown or stutter when the halls are packed with patients. This simple but effective art style transfers to the various rooms and furnishings you can decorate them with. It all adds up to a hospital that feels alive and cohesive despite the cartoon-like exterior. There are a few minor frustrations that exist, and first and the most poignant one is the inevitability of death. A small hallmark of failure, a patient dying in your care is a mini slap in the face each time it happens. But it's all part of the gig, right? Well, yes and no. Patient death through poor management is usually solved with a quick assessment and rejig of your current plans or rooms. However, controlling deaths through improper diagnosis or treatment from hospital staff, however well trained, is much harder. Despite managing the tolerance of incorrect diagnoses and training your team as much as you can in all the right areas, that death toll chime will still ring out far too frequently, certainly for my liking. Heaven forbid I try and nab the award at the end of year for no patient deaths, it still eludes me, even when I have years where all other awards are earned. I know my hospital and staff can't be bad, but I feel I'm fighting an RNG monster I can never overcome. Another minor niggle is when you save your game. Like most titles, 2 Point Hospital pauses things to save, but it feels like it lasts a little too long before struggling slightly to get back into the medical mayhem. It's an incredibly minor point that is likely being patched, but let's hope that also applies to the infrequent occasions where people get stuck in rooms despite there being no obstructions. A patient would die as a result, or one time I actually had the doctor resign, presumably because he hadn't had a break in 3 years. The sad fact is he was forever storming out because the character model wouldn't let him leave the room. Only deleting the room and replacing it would resolve the issue, as my ex-staff member then headed for the exit in a huff. And if it sounds like I'm nitpicking, that's because I am. Frankly, for the most part, 2 Point Hospital is a joy to play, and even the AI, which throws up the occasional oddity, is largely flawless. It's also pretty clever in how it runs the hospital without the need for you to micromanage it, but should you want to, there's still plenty for you to do, be it manage the staff, create your next treatment room, or simply spruce up the place with some pictures. You can create the hospital you want, whether that's one tailor-made to complete the various objectives, or one built from the ground up to look aesthetically pleasing or run efficiently. Revisiting 2 Point Hospital on console feels incredibly familiar, but also personally nostalgic too. The console version stays true to both the 90s heyday of Theme Hospital, but also the superb original PC version of the game. Despite menus being mapped to controller buttons against the traditional mouse clicks, you still feel in complete control and get the full experience. The camera and beautiful visual style make everything look and feel warm and inviting. The issues from the PC version, yeah, they're still present, but they are a drop in the ocean compared to the addictive fun on offer here. Helping people get better is always a lovely reward. Just make sure they pay their bill before they leave. Thanks so much for watching our 2 Point Hospital console review. We reviewed the PS4 version, and that's what you're looking at mostly here. We also covered the Switch version. That's me, Adam Cook, speaking to you right now. I reviewed that version, and hey, spoiler for you, it's quite good as well actually. Go and have a look at that video and all the other videos on our channel. But if you hit the subscribe button, the big red rectangle, you won't have missed that. You'll have seen that pop up at the same time as this video. But hey, hit that bell button and you'll never miss a video because you'll get a notification in whichever app you use to watch our videos. And if you wouldn't mind as well following us on Twitter at GodIsAGeek, that helps us as well. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.